The other day, I came across an article in the January 16th, 2019 issue of the Chronicle of Higher Education, in which Professor Louis Massour laments yet another passing of a history program at a college in the United States. In the article, he cites a survey of 7,000 college students and notes that the survey reveals 25% of those 7,000 college students did not know that Abraham Lincoln was the president during the Civil War. What's surprising about that result is not just that 1/4 of those students did not know Abraham Lincoln and his connection to the Civil War, but that the survey was conducted in 1943. We think that the development of our disinterest as a culture, and certainly in higher education, in history, in the stories and investigation of the past, is a recent development. But Professor Massour notes that that isn't the case. Our lack of passion for the past as a society has been happening for some time. And so Professor Massour makes an argument for how to resurrect that passion, how to resurrect interest in the past. He claims that we need to make the argument not for why we should study history, but why it matters to all of us. He makes a nod towards the philosopher George Santayana's well-worn adage that those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it, but notes that that seems mistaken at best. Time and again, he writes, we remember the past, and yet, nonetheless, we seem to repeat it, whether it's going to war or shutting down the government. One valuable insight, Professor Massour notes, into why the past matters comes not from a historian, but from a novelist. In a memoir about his upbringing, Richard Ford writes, "Entering the past is a precarious business, since the past strives but always half fails to make us who we are." Massour claims that that seems right. We are not our parents, but we can see how we are related. We study history, he claims, not because of proximity, but because of distance. Because once upon a time, people lived differently than we now live. There is a foreignness to the past that we must seek to take on its own terms. At the same time, he notes, stories about the drama of life long ago might give us pause, a chance to contemplate our common humanity with those who came before. At its most purposeful, examining past lives can lead us to examine our own. I thought that those were profound words for us this afternoon as we begin La Sierra University's 12th Annual Archaeology Discovery Weekend. We investigate the past. We excavate the past because we're interested in discovering lives that are different from our own and taking what we learn from that to help us examine us today, our own lives, rethink who we are and what we're doing, and more importantly, why. So, once again, I have the privilege of welcoming you to this very unusual Archaeology Weekend. I'm so glad that even in the midst of COVID-19, we have not set aside this event because we cannot gather, but instead have translated it into the online, the Zoom environment. So, on behalf of our Center for Near Eastern Archaeology and La Sierra University, please allow me to welcome you to this important event, because what you're doing this weekend, reinvigorating, celebrating your passion for preserving the past, is so vital to helping us move through this particular point in our journey, in what will, in a few moments' time, be the past, be history. So thank you. Thank you for the work you do, and many, many blessings for the ways in which you will continue to help us unravel not only the past, but the present, and then move us into the future as well.
And I would like to add my welcome as well. Thank you, President Fehr. Appreciate your words very much as we open our 12th annual Archaeology Discovery Weekend. And we're looking forward to 3 hours of discovery about what we're doing and how it is that we hope we're preserving the past, and doing so in responsible, ethical, and moral ways. There are a number of people that at the beginning I'd like to thank um, for their roles in different ways. In particular, I think most of you know that this particular event is being dedicated affectionately and appreciatively to Norma Kershaw. She has been a longtime friend. She is a supporter. And as you note in the screen, that we really will miss her intrepid passion to preserve the past. Her family has generously offered to donate her library to the Center for Near Eastern Archaeology, which is mostly art history. She was an art historian. And so we will be benefiting greatly by having those volumes in our library as well. Some other people to thank. Our co-sponsors, you can see them listed here. Some are media outlets, some are historical societies, some are businesses, some are campus entities, professional organizations. We thank you all for your support. And then we want to thank our donors, several different categories of donors, financial contributors. We are, as everybody is with COVID, we are needing financial support, and we'll be saying some more about that later in the program. Grants and awards, you'll hear some about those as we go through the program as well. Artifact donations, we have several collections, several thousands of artifacts because of donations. One that's fairly large collection of pristine artifacts is coming from Dr. Harvey Cohen in San Diego. There are several others as well, but we cannot express enough our appreciation. We will provide them a good home in preserving their past and preserving them. Library donations, several have come in, and of course now we're thinking about Norma Kershaw's as well, and logistical support. Support staff, if you have accessed the program, you've seen these names. We are deeply indebted to everybody listed here, the committees and the advisory council, to our IT crew. David Hunter and Greg Jimenez are here. Christian Liang was part of our preparation. We are deeply indebted to them for their support. We also want to thank presenters. Most will be here at the Center for Near Eastern Archaeology on campus, and many will be joining us via Zoom. So you'll see some split screens occasionally as we have co-presenters. I also want to thank you. I mean, in a way, maybe I'm thanking my archaeological colleagues, but I think I'm also thanking the global community for bringing to our attention that archaeologists are not just there to dig up and to analyze and to interpret, but to preserve the past. And so the focus this time is a serious one, committed to that. And when you look at all of the components of our program, they're all dedicated to preserving the past. You'll notice under CNEA research, long-term quest for ancient Ammonites and Moabites. That is decades in the making, and we will continue that quest as we're excavating at sites. And then a commitment to community archaeology, which is to say archaeology as a community asset, something that people own and that people will benefit from. And then the other components of the program as well. If you'd like, you can keep on one window the program. You see the URL for it there. That is actually the place you went to register to, so you can do that. And then toggle back and forth between Zoom and the schedule.